most delicious and delectable spirit, and welcome to your Edible Spirit New Moon transmission for this, the first new moon of 2022, the Capricorn New Moon, which is at 1:33 p.m. Eastern Time on January 2nd. Delicious new moon, useful new moon, and hopefully you are finding this and the other transmissions useful, because that's why we're bringing them to you. Not just to share astrological insight and information, but to really stand shoulder to shoulder, arm in arm. These are the practices that we use over here in Edible Spirit Land in order to what? To stay aligned with natural cycles of time, with the sort of common forces and shared experiences that make up the human journey, right? The soul's journey through our life, through incarnation, as exemplified by all of the signs of the zodiac. So we bring you these new moon transmissions to talk about the energies that are streaming into this plane, this planet, this moment, this year, as exemplified by this beautiful little holographic snapshot that is the new moon in Capricorn. So we're picking out a few little alignments just to discuss, to let you know that these are the things that are streaming in. So draw them in and use them, if you will. And we're including affirmations this month, because we find that affirmations, to have one, if we like it, in our back pocket or just running in our mind, helps us to align with these energies as they're coming in. So Edible Spirit's all about bringing you useful, functional spirituality, spiritual energy, information, and experience. Healings and readings, as always, are on offer, but we try to bring you this, once a month, new moon transmission, to just give you a little bit of a forecast for how to align with the energies that are streaming in right now, work with them until at least the full moon, but really know that we're coloring the whole next month with this energy of the Capricorn new moon. So without further ado, we just discussed Capricorn new moon. Fortunately, unfortunately, Capricorn has to do with work, discipline, practicality. It's an earth sign. It's a cardinal earth sign, right? Because solstice is when the sun goes into Capricorn, December 21st-ish. And it's a cardinal earth sign because it's the beginning of a new season. So it's got an initiatory energy. It's got an energy of kind of popping off of big bursts of stuff. But in terms of the earth signs, we like to read it as sort of that Taurus is the densest of the earth signs. It shows you what you're working with, what you got, what you can have and hold, resources. Virgo is more functional and dynamic, and it's all about creating systems and structures and organization, lists and such that help you to work with the resources of Taurus. And then Capricorn is when you put the pedal to the metal and you use the resources and the organizational workflows, lists, dynamics to put the pedal to the metal, follow them, use them, apply them, and approach accomplishment, get some shit done, right? Goals, achievements. Capricorn's associated with the 10th house, which is all about what's going on in the world. How do I affect the world, right? It's connected with Saturn, so it's got parental energy, daddy energy, responsibility energy. We hate all of these things, but here they are. And you'll see as we pick out some of the alignments that we're talking about today, how they're really all supporting this Capricornian accomplishment, achievement-based person working in the world energy in unique ways. If we can just generally speak to them right now, it's really saying not just what are you going to do and how you're going to dominate, right? Because sometimes Capricorn can be about climbing the mountain and standing on top and being like, I got to the top of the mountain. So sort of like, not just how are you going to dominate anyway, like what are you going to take over, what are you going to conquer, what are you going to pillage, but the other influences are bringing in given the current state of the world, given the current Taurian resources, Uranus and Taurus we'll talk about, and given everything that's changed and how things are right now. What are my goals? Because really, really, it's very easy to become exploitative and violent when you continue with a goal that you know to be out of alignment with your presence or with the state of the world or with the since a lot of us, most of us, all of us are service based, right? Desiring to serve and work with the light. If you integrate what's going on, if you're sensitive to your own life, to your own presence, and to the life and presence of others around you, it becomes much harder to perpetuate a goal that is violent and exploitative and divisive and miserable. Everyone has the right to do that, but we're really seeing this moment as a time when all of these different forces are experiences, and the forces that these experiences that we've had over the last couple of years are funneling into this year, this moment, this state of things. And then Capricorn says, okay, so what are you going to do? And not just what are you going to practice, what are you going to do, but what are you going towards? What do you want to achieve and accomplish? We love to talk about the journey over the destination and finding success and satisfaction in the present as opposed to just in the reaching of the goal, the destination in the end. But Capricorn is about goals and destinations and ends. So it's okay to consider that now. It's a great time to consider these things now. But most likely, if you're setting New Year's resolutions that are unreasonable based on the reality of the world around you and the reality of the life within you, you're gonna feel it. It's gonna be really fucking fidgety because your resolutions might have something to do with a different world or might have something to do with a goal that requires you to step on other people's skulls. So that's kind of how we're reading it, is that if you're really integrating what's going on right now, then your goal-setting mojo is likely, hopefully, going to be much more compassionate and inclusive of everyone and everything and all the stuff that we've been through. We're experiencing this as kind of a relief because, we come from a theater background, and limitations in theater are opportunities to create something that's never been done before with as few resources as possible or with the resources available, you see. So that's what we're up against. What are you going to create? We're trying not to say this word ever anymore. We think it's a 4-letter word, but it's also part of, the universe and creation. Capricorn's associated with manifestation. What fruit are you working to drop? So Capricorn New Moon, all of that, trust, we're going to be talking about Capricorn a lot, so glad we went through that because now we don't have to talk about Capricorn anymore. But the Capricorn New Moon is when our inner life and our outer life in this moment of new moon pause, give us this moment of poise to just set intentions about what am I working towards or what am I working on or what am I working to achieve during this month-long cycle. Okay, so this new moon, as we said, is like a holographic moment. And this new moon is squaring a beautiful planetoid, asteroid, I believe, yeah, Chiron, which is all about awareness and systems, healing, and specifically this function of paying attention to the points of weakness in a system, in like a beautiful Virgo in machine, like the human body, for instance. Paying attention to the points of weakness. Let's say like you have an old injury and you're about to go on a long journey, right? Chiron would bring in this force of, yo, you have this old injury. It's in your Achilles heel or in your, hamstring or whatever. Chiron's like, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention, pay attention. Why? Because if you address this point of weakness and you stretch it and you work with it, then your whole system will be in a new state of integrity, and then you can proceed along your journey. If you don't address this, it tends to lead to system breakdown, system collapse. So Chiron is moving through Aries for a long period of time. Aries, the sign of the self, first sign of the zodiac, sign of the individual, very selfish. Love you, Aries. Very self-centered, Aries as a sign. And then Chiron is this force of awareness drawing attention to all of these points of weakness or points of imbalance or points of potential compromise in your very sense of self, okay? Now, the new moon is squaring Chiron in Aries in this moment. So as we set our intentions this month, the idea is to pay attention to the tension, which is a square, between what we want to accomplish and our new awareness of who we actually are. We addressed this, a moment ago. So that's the Chiron and Aries function. It says, yo, you've changed. Chiron dragging its ass through Aries is changing for every single one of us our very sense of self. When we say I, what do we mean, right? So this moment of the new moon in Capricorn, that's us and our little individual hobbit holes, right? Or apartments or whatever, trying to set goals for this coming month. And it says there's a point of tension here, so that if you don't consider how you've changed and you just set another goal, you're going to walk towards that goal, but maybe it has fucking nothing to do with you. That's going to create friction, tension, agita, and then if Chiron's doing its thing, if it's not integral, if it's not in integrity, right, whatever path you're pursuing, your system will break down. I feel like we've all experienced one kind of burnout or another over the last couple of years. So hopefully that's not, a foreign idea. Point is that Chiron in Aries can be showing you all these points of weakness, so it can make you kind of start this new year with a bad attitude of like, oh, look at all these things that need to be addressed or need to be healed, right? Because Chiron essentially is an asteroid of healing, bringing awareness to something that's out of alignment, working with it, shedding some light on it, bringing insight into it, and voila, it opens up, and now the whole system is doing better, right? Basic map of healing. The thing here is that if you feel kind of nitpicky on yourself, that might be why, but don't go there for too long. Try to use these sort of points of maybe criticality even, or just points of like unwanted awareness where you're glaring at something that's out of alignment in yourself. If you can't look away from it, it's because Chiron's trying to draw your attention there so you can actually do what you set out to do, or even more importantly, to make sure that what you're moving towards is authentic. So some questions that work with this. How have I changed, essentially? What do I realize now about myself that I didn't used to know? What was under all of my masks? Who is under all of my masks? And based on this understanding of who I am now today, how do I intend to accomplish something, or what do I intend to pursue? The affirmation that I'm including here with you is I am pursuing my goals as my authentic self, right? And the affirmation associated with the Capricorn New Moon, I am steadily approaching the horizon before me. I am steadily and methodically, one foot in front of the other, very Capricorn, approaching the horizon before me. It's up. I got to look up and out. That's a goal, right? So there's your Capricorn New Moon affirmation. I am steadily approaching the horizon before me. If you want to draw on this energy of the new moon squaring Chiron and Aries, try this one on for size. I am pursuing my goals. Chiron and Aries, am pursuing my goals, Capricorn New Moon, as my authentic self. I am pursuing my goals as my authentic self. I am pursuing my goals as my authentic self. Better than not pursuing your goals, and better than pursuing your goals as your false self, right? Nice little affirmation. The new moon is also trining Uranus and Taurus. So this is more having to do, whereas Chiron and Aries is about what's changed, or what do I need to address or adjust now within me. Because Chiron is both pointing out those little places of things that can be worked with and healed and adjusted. And the square is begging for something to be done with that, right? To sort of resolve the tension. The trine says there is a potentially harmonious, there's sort of like an open channel of harmony between your new moon intentions, what you want to do and get done, and the way that things have changed on this earth plane, the way that our relationship to literally matter, our homes, our stuff, money, resources, as we said, right? Because Uranus is in Taurus. So long story short of this, it says your new moon opportunity could be fed by what's changed on the material plane, by all of the shit that's crumbled down, right? Uranus, we associate with the tower and destruction of the material plane, right? The tower card in the tarot, lightning bolt, explosion, space, burnt field so that new growth can occur. So this, similarly, in terms of outlook as you're approaching your 2022, it's like, do you want to look at everything that's broken and fallen apart as like a tragic decimation? Or do you want to look at it as an opportunity as information, right, that can be taken and can be used to feed your intentions and your goals and what you want to do in this year? Would strongly suggest making decisions based on what's happening now, as opposed to what was happening or what you think is going to be happening. And there's a certain element of, whereas, like we said, with Chiron and Aries, and the square of that, it's stuff that wants to be worked with and stuff that wants to be changed and points of weakness that want to be addressed. Whereas Uranus and Taurus is much denser, like we said. This is kind of how it is. We refuse to accept anything as a new normal because normal is fucked. But Uranus and Taurus kind of begs us to accept the thingness of what's going on, the tangibility of what's changed, right? And to say, and to accept it, to accept that, to be like, this is how it is now. And based on how it is now, these are my Capricorn New Moon intentions. This is what I'm working towards. These are my goals. Some questions for this beautiful new moon trine Uranus and Taurus. How have things changed in the world and on the material plane? And given these changes, what do I intend to accomplish now? And your affirmation for this is, I am accepting what's changed and continuing towards my goals. I'm accepting what's changed and continuing towards my goals. I'm going to include all these affirmations in our comments section. Final alignment here is kind of a big one because it's called a yod or a yod. I say yod, but it's when there's two planets that are sextiling each other, and they form a Y, and then they have another planet in the middle of their sextile. So what's happening right now is that, I might mix the sides up, but we've got Mars on one end and Chiron on the other end, and then Saturn is right in the middle. So Mars, Chiron, and then Saturn is at the point. And the theory with these yods is that the two planets that are sextiling the third planet are sort of channeling their energy into that third planet. And it's as though there could be a beautiful relationship between all three of these planets, but all of the mojo is getting focused into the middle planet because it's obstructing the natural and efficient flow of energy in between these things. So it's got this kind of sense of Saturn being the center, right? And the thing that's obstructing the easy flow of Mars and Chiron. Mars is not really Capricorn-y in terms of work and accomplishment, but because it's a fiery planet, but it is about the energy that we use to fuel our Capricornian goals, right? The fuel that when we put the pedal to the metal, Mars helps us to both press the metal, and it's the fire that's press the pedal, and it's the fire that's coming out of the back. So it's literally that like forward motion propulsion energy. So we're reading this as, not what do you intend to do, but what are you actually doing right now. So the theory is that as we are seeking harmony between Chiron and Aries, ourself, and how we changed and what still needs to be worked with, and Mars in Sagittarius, right? Our energy, our desires, our fuego, our fire, right? Moving us forward towards our loftiest, highest possible idealistic goals, Sagittarius. We're struggling with connecting the dots between who we are now, how we change, what still needs to change, and what we're doing. It's literally like there's a bit of a disconnect between who we are and how we've changed and what we're doing or trying to do. And that's at the center of the yod. And the center of that yod is Saturn, which is connected with Capricorn, which is connected with structures and lessons, difficult lessons, things that we don't necessarily want to learn. So using this parlance of the yod, we're being given, right, an opportunity to grow the fuck up, take some responsibility, which is connected with both Saturn and Capricorn, and work to only use our energy, Mars, that which addresses these imbalances in ourselves, or that which expresses the very best of who we are now today. It's a lot of pressure, but it's the fucking beginning of the year. So if you don't set like a nice lofty goal right now, it's fine. You don't really have to, but between the beginning of the year and a Capricorn new moon on January 2nd, it's kind of an ideal time to wrap your head around this, right? And we're just saying, like, in order to find harmony between who you've become and what you do, you're likely going to have to face up to some serious lessons. Saturn is mature and responsible. It makes sacrifices. It lets go of things. These could be delicious sacrifices too, though. You could let go of someone that you thought you had to be for your whole life. And now all of a sudden you have all this energy because you're no longer, using your Mars energy to try to not deal with what's going on right now, right? There's something juvenile about it too, about staying in the past, because, like, of course we'd all rather exist in a time where all of our needs were taken care of, or like the fucking 90s when nothing was wrong, everything was wrong. Because this is a new moon, and because this is the beginning of the year, and because these charts affect us differently, but all at once, the fact that everything seems to be in the stars seems to be nudging us towards taking responsibility. And when we have that responsibility, or accept that responsibility, to integrate circumstances around us and realities within us in order to assess how to practically and methodically move forward and set some intentions about how to do that. Affirmation for this makes it very simple. I'm confronting difficult lessons and accomplishing goals with integrity to the best of my ability, right? I'm confronting difficult lessons and accomplishing goals with integrity. Because the idea here is kind of like, as you go towards these goals, the stars seem to be saying you're going to be confronted with difficult lessons, and you could just regress into a juvenile state, or you could take some responsibility and keep going and adjust and change and sacrifice, goals or dreams or desires that have nothing to do with who you are now or what's going on now, or the need that you sense in the world, right? That which you're responding to in the world around you. And this is the final icing on this little baby cake, is Jupiter squaring the lunar nodes. So this is just very simply this beautiful 90-degree angle, equilateral triangle, right, between is it equilateral? No, sorry, isosceles, I think. Yeah, because there's an opposition of 180 degrees and then two 90-degree angles right in the middle. So we're getting a beautiful isosceles triangle with Jupiter squaring the lunar nodes. Boop, 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 boop. And it's this idea, very simply, I won't even go into it for too long, just that our growth is connected, our growth as a collective and as individuals is now, in this moment, in this new moon, bound to whether we accept or deny our collective karma and dharma, right? What we came in here with and what we're moving towards. So to some extent, this is about, you have an opportunity to really use your individuality to participate in this human story that we're going through, with all of the challenges and restrictions and limitations that we've come into in this life. I mean, born in the 80s, right? It's part of all of our karma to be in a world that's gobbling fossil fuels and like slowly coming to a simmer, like we're all lobster pots. This is just a great example of karma. A great example of collective dharma. Don't you get this sense as humans that we could either save each other or not? Dharma's a calling. You don't have to answer it. But what's beautiful about this month is that as we go about setting our little individual paths, setting our intentions for the month, we're just going to have a much easier time if we have the courage, the strength of heart, to integrate the changes, what's changed around us and what's changed within us, as we are resolute about setting certain goals. And then the theory is walk the path. And if these goals are integral and in alignment with our collective karma and dharma, you're going to walk buoyantly and reach your goals and watch all this fruit drop. And if not, we're suspecting that this is going to be the year where, I don't know, I'm seeing, funny, Spirit's working with us, just saw an image of a suitcase and all of this clothes all over the place. And the message is it's your baggage will be exploded all over for the world to see. Like, it's baggage. That's what it was. Your baggage will be exploded and visible for you and anyone who cares to look. But, great opportunity in the Gemini, in the, influence of the Gemini new moon from the last month Gemini full moon from the last couple of weeks to consider baggage as masks, right? As false selves, old personalities, old selves. And every time you pick up some baggage and try it on as a mask, it's like, does this baggage suit me anymore? Is this fun? Is this, story sufficiently spacious? Do I feel I have room to grow inside of this persona? Or do I feel confined and trapped? That's what we advised during the time from the Gemini full moon to this new moon, is to just try on these old masks and burn the ones that don't fit, burn the ones that are expired, kill them because they're already dead. But if you keep the mask hanging around, it becomes very easy to forget that you're not that mask. So some questions connected with this Jupiter squaring the lunar nodes. What is my duty to humanity? What is my duty to myself? What are my curses? What is my calling? And how can I work with both of these in order to move forward towards my horizon, towards my goals? Your affirmation for this one: I am growing as I accept my challenges and embrace my purpose. I am growing. We are growing as we accept our challenges and embrace our purpose. We have a shared purpose here, right? Guessing it's not to extract fossil fuels from the earth and boil each other. Don't think that's the shared purpose. Suspect that maybe the shared purpose is to discover harmonious ways of coexisting without doing those things, right? Without having to exploit or extract or be violent in any way. So our suggestion to you for this new moon is to use these affirmations in a daily meditation. Pick one that you love, and know that when you use the affirmation, because of how we've built this, you're not just using that affirmation, you're drawing on the energy of that planet, which is streaming in through the new moon holographic portal. Try them, okay? We recommend lighting a candle, doing a lovely box breath. So either 4 counts in, hold 4, 4 counts out, hold 4, 4 counts in, hold 4, 4 counts out, hold 4, or just 4 counts in and out. So just something balanced and stable as a breath. We like to light a candle or and gaze at it, or just close our eyes and, look into that darkness. And then the theory is to practice kind of breathing the affirmation in and breathing the affirmation out. We like to either do one in on the inhale and one in on the exhale, or sort of halfway in on the inhale, halfway in on the exhale, so that you're like flossing yourself with that mantra, or breathing the mantra in, holding it for those 4 moments, breathing the mantra out, holding it for 4 moments in silence, right? Yeah. And also just remembering that the power of affirmations works by the power of decree, which is that like you declare this thing and the energies start to follow, because energy follows thought into manifestation. So using an affirmation sort of creates a little funnel or a little focal point, a lens, if you will, that takes all of your affirmations, and for the 5 minutes that you're doing that affirmation, you're only thinking about that intention. And in alignment with this, with our new moon transmissions, sort of allows you to season yourself with whatever seasoning salts you want to season yourself with from this season and from these alignments and from this report. And you can really do this kind of alignment practice with anything, with an ascended spirit, with an ascended teacher, like Buddha or Kuan Yin or Mother Mary, where you're breathing in their essence and breathing it out. So you can do it just with an essence, or you can do it with an affirmation for one of them that you write, or maybe something that is written about them that connects you to that energy. So using an affirmation is a beautiful way of speaking either through your mind or into the world your intention, and then that intention becomes a focal point that begins to accrue energy and more vibration. And theory is law of attraction. If you spend some time over time feeding this bubble of energy, it will start to attract more of that energy to itself. And because you're breathing it in, you're attracting more of that energy to yourself. And then theory is, all of this is just to support you as you pursue your goals this month and this year. And like we said, if what you're working with is not in alignment with yourself or with the world or with any aspect of existence, you're going to know it, and you're going to get opportunities to adjust and address. But just final thing we leave you with is just to remember that this Capricorn new moon is about your goals, your dreams, your desires. Yeah, you can set something that you want to accomplish by the end of the month. That's really great. But like, Capricorn energy is juicy. It's big. It's noticeable. It takes over the world. You know, it's imperial. So we don't love this energy in 2022 as embodied by you know, various beings, right? Authority or even sovereignty can become a confusing, bizarre word these days. But the theory is that if you are using your authority harmlessly, non-violently, then your authority is not exploitative, right? What kind of authority? Like what good is authority that's violent and exploitative and divisive? We want authority that is compassionate and nurturing and nourishing and inclusive, right? So which kind of Capricorn are you this month? Thank you so much for tuning in to your new moon transmission. We are here for you. If you would like to work with us privately or in a group, you can visit EdibleSpirit.com or find some links in our Instagram bio. We are doing private sessions and group sessions. We are currently offering Edible Spirit sessions, tarot readings, and we're working on an energy work session because we are being called to bring more direct healing to you guys. We'll still be doing sessions distantly, but we want to get our hands into your mojo a little bit more. So stay tuned for info on Edible Spirit healing sessions, hands-on energy work a la Edible Spirit. But also, if you miss your people, if you didn't get to see your people this holiday season and you want to connect in a fun, interesting, enjoyable way, consider a group aura picks sitting from Edible Spirit. These are short, 10, 15, 20-minute aura portraits where I take a little screen grab of you and your body and then do a digital portrait of your aura using just a little software program, drawing in all the colors, telling you, you know, what it means. And we're doing these for groups of 3 or more at the moment. And we book an hour, 2 hours, we get all of our people together and we do readings. It's really fun because you get to watch your friends and loved ones getting read. And a lot of times it's really useful because people who know us can sometimes get things out of a reading that maybe our own scope is not giving to us. That happens, and it's really fun when people are like, no, that's accurate. You know, when someone's like, that doesn't resonate, and someone's like, no, bitch, that's true about you. That's really fun. So available, ready, willing, and able to work with you, to do some healing with you, and just so grateful to be here on this earth at this time with you, setting big goals, pursuing big dreams that are loving and compassionate and inclusive of all beings and their freedom, peace, and happiness everywhere, without exception. So be it, and so it is. Happy New Year, dear one.